thought about having this cool intro. Nah, maybe later. But for now, you are listening to My Introvert Thoughts. Hey. Welcome back to another episode of My Introvert Thoughts with me, Skorpyen November here. Hey. How you doing? I hope you are doing well. Hope you are happy and feeling blessed in all of the things. Hope you are getting your moments of solitude to recalibrate, reset all of the things. Hope you are operating from an overflowing cup, not just a full cup, but an overflowing cup, so you can show up for yourself and other folks and be your amazing introvert self. Hello. As you can tell, I am super happy to be talking with you. As for me, I am amazing, feeling good, showing up and showing out in the best ways that I know how for the people that I love and care about, operating from an overflowing cup, feeling good, happy, and just grateful. I am grateful. I have intentionally been trying to operate from a space of gratefulness and being thankful for what I do have in preparation for what I will have and working towards all of the things. But hey, I am grateful for you too, for you listening to the podcast. Thank you for listening to the podcast, whether this is your first time tuning in, whether you're a consistent listener, whether you listen to every episode. Thank you for listening and tapping in. I appreciate you so very much. So very much. I would break out in song for you, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I can't do it every episode. I have to make it be like a treat to bless you with this amazing singing voice that I have. I operate from a small space of delusion here and there, but that's just between you and I. Because to me, I can sing, but I just say that I acknowledge that I can't sing to make other people feel better for not having an amazing voice like me. Do you know what I mean? See, I'm a caring person. And I don't want anyone else to feel bad about all of these talents that I have. I'm joking. Of course, I know I don't have the most amazing singing voice in the world, but maybe within my circle I do. Anyway, before we get into today's episode, I want to do a few housekeeping things. Okay, one of the things that I want to say is I've already said thank you for listening. Also, there's podcast merch available. Help keep the lights on around this place. The podcast popping and episodes coming. And although we're more than halfway through this season, we want another season of the podcast. So make sure you get you some merch. A link should be below in the description that says purchase here, buy here, get your merch here, some variation thereof. Or you can go on the link in our social medias and click a link to get you some merch there. Let your merch speak for you. And if you're enjoying these episodes of the podcast, make sure you're rating them 5 stars and sharing via your social medias, word of mouth, email, what have you. Let other folk know that we are here, we're representing, we're doing the things. Us introverts are out here. We out here representing well, okay? Like Earl say, doing it well. Doing it well. We do it very, very well as introverts, okay? So we gotta let other people know that we out here doing it well, okay? All right. Yeah, I thought so. You know, I'm gonna share something with you, like I always do. And I'm sure some of you feel the same, if not all or most of you. But I do not like catching rides with other people, places. Like, let's say if we're going to a gathering or something, I don't want to ride with anybody else. Because when I'm ready to leave, I'm ready to leave. When my introvert meter has gotten to a socializing meter has gotten to a certain place, I'm ready to go. And I don't want to wait on you. I want to go now. I want to go before I start having a sour time. I want to leave before it becomes uncomfortable for me. Now, oftentimes, maybe if you ride with another introvert, you bum a ride with another introvert, maybe you guys can be on the same wavelength and you can say, okay, girl, we're going to stay an hour and a half, 2.5 max, and then we up out of here. Good? You good? You okay with that? And sometimes you can come to an agreement. When you're riding with an extrovert, oh my goodness, you're likely to be there for hours and hours. You're likely to be there until the function shuts down. You're likely to be part of the cleanup crew. You're there so late. I don't want to do all that. I want to come and show my face, say hi, support, mingle a little bit, and then make my exit. And the only way that I can ensure that to happen is if I'm in control. If I'm the one driving, or if I catch an Uber. But riding with someone, no. I don't prefer to ride with someone else. I don't. I have had many unpleasant experiences riding with someone to a function. Family member, friend, doesn't matter. I don't want to ride with anybody. I would rather, if I can help it, if I know where I'm going, I would rather take myself. Now, that's a little different if you're out of town visiting and you didn't get a rental, or where you're going to doesn't have access to Uber transportation like that. Oh my gosh. It's an unpleasant thing. It's an unpleasant time. So if you're an introvert that tries that, catching rides with people just so you can consolidate, so if you're coming from the same house and going to the same place or what have you, save yourself the energy and just drive. Drive yourself. You're going to save yourself some frustration. I think I shared an episode, a story last season about getting in trouble with my mom about that when I was a teenager, being ready to go. She wasn't ready to go. I got in trouble for that one. So I learned a long time ago, although I didn't always adhere to it, that you should have your own transportation when you're going places as an introvert, especially to functions. And that's even shopping. That even goes with shopping. Some people can shop all day long. And when I say all day long, I mean like all day long. I don't want to be out all day long. I do not want to be, I don't want to leave at 12 p.m. and not get back until 9 p.m. because I've been at the mall the entire time or store hopping the entire time. Nope. Because I'm going to be in a bad mood by the time probably 5, 6 o'clock happens. And that's me stretching it. And that's me being someone operating from an overflowing cup at the time. That's if I'm operating from an overflowing cup. No, take me home. I want to go home. I don't want to be out all the time. So that's my tip for you. If you're trying to be that person that compromises and goes along for the sake of getting along, when you know that's not what you feel in your heart, where you don't want to bum rides, don't. And if they ride with you, they have to leave when you say you're ready to leave. But as an introvert, I would encourage you to communicate that to someone that you know is an extrovert and likes to spend time places. Like, hey, I'm only staying a couple of hours max, so you gonna be ready when it's time to go. Because I don't want to hear that crap when it's time to go. You saying, let's stay a little longer. Nope. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's hit it. So take care of yourself. Drive your own vehicle. Save money for an Uber. Whatever you got to do. Be in control. All right. I have been wanting to talk about this for a minute on the podcast. And I think now is the perfect time to do so. I wanted to talk about introverts on social media. How does that work out for you? How are you managing that as an introvert on social? I will speak for me and my experience as an introvert on social. And I'll give you some examples. For me, I have found that being on social media, if I am interacting with folk, commenting, being in chat spaces, showing up in lives, all those things, right? That I am expelling energy because I'm still socializing. It's social media. We expel energy socializing. So I am expelling energy. And so that is draining to an extent. And if I'm not careful, I will deplete my social meter. That my cup will be completely empty if I'm not careful on social. So that's whether I'm commenting in a live, whether I'm in a chat room. I have to manage that time, and I have to be careful, and I have to be strategic about the way in which I go about it, because I want to show up. But sometimes if I don't have the energy, I can't show up at all, or I can't show up in the way that I want to show up. And that makes it not enjoyable. I know when I'm on social, I want to enjoy it. I want to have a good time. It's social media. When we socialize, we want to have a good time. And so I have to be conscious of the way that I am showing up and how often and how long I'm showing up.
Hey there. Are you enjoying this episode? Well, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you are notified of all future and bonus episodes. Okay, now back to this episode.
So, my experience has been, I'm going to tell you my previous experience and my current experience with social. My previous experience with social, considering that I create digital content, right, has been to overextend myself on social, to be in chat rooms too long and too often, to be on social commenting too much, to try to show up to everybody's live, to show support. And it was too much, and I would drain myself. And also, at the same time, having to create the content, promote and market the content, to analyze how the content was doing, it became overwhelming. And so what would happen is I would say, I'm taking social media breaks. And sometimes I would disappear, disappear for months at a time because it was too much. I was too drained. And the thought of returning to social to embark upon the same path was debilitating. It became too much. So during that time also, and I do this now, I had to set aside days that I knew I wouldn't be on social. At one point in time, I set aside Sundays. I said, Sundays, I will not be on social. So I would let my following know, or people that I was interacting with, hey, I'm really not active on Sundays. So if I don't respond to you, know that that's why. But at the same time, even though that was a boundary, I would feel like, okay, maybe I'm missing out on something, an opportunity for something. So sometimes I would break that rule that I set for my own protection, for my own well-being, my own boundary. I would break it, and that's not good. Now I have set it up where I take certain days where I'm not active. I'll just look. I may look on social, but I'm not responding. I'm not trying to show up to anybody's live. I'm not trying to go into anybody's chat. I'm not. I don't owe social all of me. I had to figure out, what do I owe social? In the scheme of creating content, promoting content, and showing up for the community that you're trying to be a part of and build for your following, etc. I don't want to overwhelm myself. So I had to set boundaries, again, for myself that I'm adhering to. And it has gotten so much better. So much better. I don't have to show up in the same way everybody else shows up, because I'm not everybody. I am me. And I have to protect me, because if there's no me, there's no content coming from me, because I won't be able to produce the content. In this space of digital content creation, sometimes we give into the idea that we have to be everywhere all the time, and we have to show up to everything and be on every platform and all the things. And when you don't have a team, a big team, it can be a lot. It is a lot. It's not. It is. It's a lot. And so some things you're just not going to be able to do. And that's okay. But what you're able to do, you want to show up in excellence. I do. I want to show up in excellence. Not perfection, but excellence. In doing my best with what I have and what I'm capable of at the moment. And doing it with intention and love. When social becomes a means where you're promoting something and it's transferred into something else, it can become overwhelming. If you're just on social just to interact, you're not a digital creator, yes, it lessens it. It lessens the stress. It lessens it a lot. When I was on TikTok without creating content, it lessened that stress so much, because I was just enjoying the content. I was just watching the videos, laughing, learning things from intelligent and knowledgeable creators, and just having a time. When I started creating content, it became a little different. So the experiences are different on social if you're a creator, or if you're a business owner and you're promoting and you're marketing and you're networking, trying to make connections, trying to let people know that you're here. It's a lot. It's a lot. So if you're an introvert on social and you're you're promoting things, creating content, or you're a business owner on social and you find yourself drained, no, you're not dreaming it. You're not imagining it. You're expelling energy. It's social media. You're expelling energy. It's social. So no, you're right. Protect yourself. put plans in place where I don't go on social this day, or I go on social from 8 to 10 a.m. and I'm off for the day. I don't go back on for the rest of the day. Or I go on at later on in the evenings and I'm on for a couple of hours. Making sure I tap into different platforms, or tap in or check in with my people, or where I'm tapping into this live because I know my buddy has this live happening this day. There's ways to do it where you're still showing up and you're still supporting the people that you care about, the communities that you're caring about, and you're still doing the things for yourself on social, but also respecting your boundaries and protecting your energy level, your mental health, physical health, and all the things. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing for sure. Take it from me. It's a thing. Okay, so I wanted to share a story about something that happened on social. In a chat space, actually, I think it's only appropriate about, and it's dealing with what we were just talking about spelling, energy, and something that we tapped into in a previous episode about me, how I handle disagreements sometimes, right? So I was in a chat space, and it's a chat space where I'm familiar with some folk, right? That we kind of interact pretty often, right? And there was a disagreement happening within the space. And I was questioning some things about why certain things were happening, why certain people were doing certain things that didn't quite make sense to me in the grand scheme of things. Like, it seemed to be some futile things to do. Some things that they were doing were futile to me. Doesn't mean everybody has to agree with me, but it was just to me, right? So with that disagreement that was happening, it was like I didn't think that my point was being taken, the points that I was trying to make. And it was because I realize as an introvert sometimes that we don't want to keep repeating ourselves in different ways, and we like to conserve words. Sometimes as introverts, it's like, I'm going to say this way and try to consolidate as many words as possible so I don't have to overtalk, right? And you made me say, that's funny for you to say, Skorpyen, considering that you have podcasts. Not a podcast, but podcasts with an S on the end. You don't want to overtalk? You don't want to overexpel words? Right. Exactly. I don't. If you notice, most of my podcasts, the episodes are short. I try to keep short episodes concise to the point. So back to this particular interaction. So it was like I was trying to explain what I was thinking. And as one of the persons that I was talking to was countering some of the things that I said, it just became like a futile point to me, a conversation that wasn't going anyplace. A disagreement ensued, and it just didn't seem to be going anyplace. And I was like, what's the point of having this disagreement? Doesn't make sense. And I don't want to keep going over it. So I'm just going to end the conversation. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about it. I don't. And sometimes in that space, I know there was some misunderstanding about what I was saying, but at a certain point, I didn't care to fix it anymore. I just wanted to let it be. I didn't care to fix it at all. I was like, it's just going to stay here. That's it. They think what they want to think. We could disagree. It's still my people's, but I'm not going to explain this any further. And so I just let it go. I just left it there. Like I said, I have a thing where if I see a disagreement or something's not going to go anywhere, especially in my personal life, not professional, personal, I'm going to let it go. Now, in my professional life, I don't choose to really argue or have those type of disagreements where there's not a resolution in place. I prefer not to argue in my professional. I just prefer to have discussions and to come to a common ground and to communicate that. Because I realize professionally, you can't do that. But personally, I can do that if I feel like the conversation isn't going anywhere. Or I don't want to expel that energy. Now, that doesn't mean the conversation always ends there and doesn't come back up later. No. But just in this particular instance on social media, I'm not taking it there. I'm not doing it. And we still gonna be cool tomorrow. I want to ask you, how do you handle disagreements on social? It's particularly in chat spaces or with people that you interact with often. I don't mean people that just comment on your content and people that choose to antagonize you in comments and troll and that type of thing. No, I mean, like, if you're in a chat space, if you've been in a chat space and you had a disagreement with someone, how do you typically handle it? Do you typically just be like, okay, it's not worth it, I'm not going to sit here and keep arguing with you? I have other examples too of people trying to engage in disagreement with me and I refuse, or people that try to trigger you to say certain things and you refuse. I have older stories about that. If you want to hear those, let me know. But the question is, how do you handle those disagreements? Do you choose to engage or disengage? I would love to know. As always, you can email the podcast, myintrothoughts@gmail.com. But before we get out of here for this episode, I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to get your merch and share this episode. Share this episode with someone that you think will enjoy it on your social medias, via email, word of mouth, what have you. And you can always follow us on our socials, since we're talking about socials, at My Intro Thoughts. At My Intro Thoughts. If we're on that social outlet, our handle is at My Intro Thoughts. All right now, until next time, be blessed, be kind, and choose happy. Peace now.